Hi, I've been waiting. I'm Stitchmouth, and I tell scary stories. Most nights, calling an Uber is just routine, safe, convenient, forgettable. But sometimes, the ride takes you somewhere you never wanted to go. Like the night a driver picked up a passenger and something else hitched a ride. This is the demon in the suitcase. Stitch by stitch the dark comes near, so close your eyes and lend an ear. It was one of those long shifts that just dragged. An Uber driver named Chris had been working since late afternoon, and all he wanted now was to finish one or two more rides, go home, and zone out in front of the TV. The air in the car was stale, the faint smell of old coffee clinging to the cup holder. He checked his phone. One more ping lit up the screen. Pick up nearby. He sighed. Okay, last one. As he pulled up to the curb, a man was already waiting under the streetlight. He looked a little worn down, shirt half tucked, hair messy, with a satchel over one shoulder and a heavy suitcase by his side. The man waved frantically, checking his watch like he was late for something. Chris popped the trunk and nodded hello. The passenger heaved the suitcase inside with surprising force, then slid into the back seat, directly behind Chris. The map lit up on the dashboard. Chris expected to see the airport. Instead, the route cut across town, winding out toward the outskirts, where the trees met the highway and the city lights were too far to see. "You good with this address?" Chris asked. The man nodded once. Chris didn't push it. His job was A to B, nothing more. Silence filled the cabin. Then the radio broke it with a grim announcement. Police still have no suspects in the string of child murders that have plagued the county these past 3 weeks. Chris shook his head, muttering, "Sick world." "Can you step on it?" the passenger said suddenly. His voice was sharp, urgent. Chris gave a careful shrug. "I'll get us there as quick as I can." But then another sound joined them. Not the radio, not the car. Something faint, muffled. Chris turned the volume down. It was long, drawn out, almost human. "You hear that?" he asked, glancing in the mirror. The passenger's eyes stayed locked forward. "It's probably just the car. Don't worry about it." The sound grew louder. Chris's stomach sank as he realized it was coming from the trunk, from the suitcase. A voice, small, strained. Chris's hand hovered toward his phone. The passenger's voice snapped. "Don't." His eyes were wild now, his breath quick. "Listen to me. This sounds crazy, but you need to believe me. I'm a demon hunter, and that thing you hear is an extremely dangerous demon." Chris's stomach turned. The explanation was madness, yet the man's tone was deadly serious. "I've been tracking this thing for 3 weeks. It mimics kids. Do not fall for it. If it gets loose, more innocent people will die." Chris's mind spun. He wanted to slam on the brakes, throw the man out, call the cops. But the passenger was right behind him, too close. And who knows if he had a weapon on him, so he nodded, pretended to go along, anything to keep himself safe. From the trunk, the voice turned into a scream. High-pitched, terrified, the suitcase rattled. Chris's skin went cold. It sounded too real. "It's trying to trick you," the man hissed. "Don't listen." They pulled into the dark clearing at the edge of town. Chris pressed the trunk release. His chest felt tight, every nerve buzzing. He knew he had to make a move now, one way or another. The ride was over, but whatever happened next would decide if he got home alive. The man bolted out, rushing toward the suitcase. Chris's hands shook as he reached into the glove compartment and wrapped his fingers around the pistol he kept there. He stepped out, gun hidden at his side, heart pounding. The passenger noticed the gun, spun back and raised his hands. "You don't understand. If you open it, it kills us both. I'm the only one who can finish this." But the cries from the suitcase cut through the night, raw and desperate. Chris couldn't ignore it anymore. Who the hell did this psycho think he was kidding with the whole demon hunter spiel anyway? He took a step closer. The man lunged. The gun went off. The hunter staggered back, blood blooming across his chest, his face twisted in despair more than pain. Chris stood frozen, ears ringing. He looked down at the suitcase. The voice whimpered again. Shaking, he flipped the latches. Inside was a little girl, bruised, wide-eyed, very, very real. So what do you think? Was he just a madman on a killing spree? Or was the girl inside really a demon? Let's move on to a woman who took an ordinary ride and ended up in the middle seat. Erin booked her Uber like she always did after a night out with her friends. The night air was crisp, the streetlights humming above her. Within minutes, a gray sedan rolled up to the curb. She tugged her coat tighter and opened the back door. But before she could slide in, the driver leaned over. "You'll need to sit in the middle seat," he said. His voice was calm but firm. She hesitated. "The middle?" He nodded. She glanced at the other seats. Perfectly normal. Upholstery intact, nothing strange. It was an odd request, but she was running late. After a beat of hesitation, she stepped inside and buckled in, right in the center. The car eased onto the road, the quiet hum of the engine filling the space. Erin's eyes wandered around. Nothing unusual. Faint air freshener smell, tissues stuffed in the door pocket, phone mount on the dash. The driver broke the silence with some small talk. He asked what she did for a living, how long she'd been in the city. He sounded ordinary enough, even polite. Her shoulders relaxed. "Okay, maybe I overthought it." "See that?" he asked, pointing to a tall brick building on the right. "Beautiful place." She followed his gesture. The building looked completely ordinary to her, just like the rest of the buildings on that street. She nodded politely anyway. Moments later, he motioned to the left. "That park there, I used to walk through it when I was a kid." His stories felt random, unanchored, but she smiled, murmuring acknowledgments. Then his eyes flicked to her in the mirror. "You have an accent, don't you? A lovely voice. Keep talking. I want to try and figure out where your accent is from." Her throat tightened. She didn't have an accent at all. Still, she chuckled softly. "Thanks, I guess." To be polite, she added a few words about her childhood. He listened intently, too intently. "Lift your hands," he said suddenly. She blinked. "Sorry? I want to see them, to know if they're as lovely as your voice." Her laugh came out awkward. "That's a strange thing to ask." She lowered her gaze. Then she noticed the dash cam, mounted dead center on the dashboard, and swiveled, aimed directly at her in the middle seat. Her stomach sank. Something clicked. Earlier that day, she'd read an article on her phone. It was about AI deepfakes. People were creating online avatars of others by feeding the AI enough images, videos, voices, and gestures of the person. Then they would impersonate them on social media. Her skin crawled. She remembered his fixation, her voice, her hands. Her mind whispered, "Is that why the camera's on me?" She stopped answering his questions. Her smile faded. He noticed her change in demeanor. "You okay back there?" She nodded. Taking another glance at the camera, his eyes darted to the camera too, then back at her. "That's for my safety. I've been in uncomfortable situations with passengers before. Gotta protect myself." Erin forced a smile, but inside her heart pounded. "I don't believe you." She started counting the traffic lights, planning her escape. When the car slowed at a red light, she grabbed her bag and yanked the handle. The door flung open. Cold air hit her face as she bolted into the street. "Hey!" the driver shouted, voice breaking. His tires screeched as he chased after her. She sprinted across the intersection as the creepy Uber driver followed closely behind in the car. The bumper clipped her hip, sending her stumbling, but adrenaline kept her moving. She dragged herself up and tore down the sidewalk. Thankfully, she approached a somewhat lively shopping center. By the time she ducked into a pharmacy, chest heaving, the gray sedan was gone. She filed a police report immediately. License plate, driver name, every detail. Days later, 2 cops knocked on her door. They'd found him. His phone was filled with deep fake videos of people that had gone missing within the past few months. The Uber driver gained access to their social media and spliced them into vacations they never took. He had been posting on their social media using these edited AI avatars of them so their disappearances would look accidental. The cops found the missing people's faces on his phone, but the real ones were buried in his yard. They say the camera never lies, but sometimes it comes a little too close to the truth. Now let's continue, because one couple only wanted dinner, and instead they found the Bulging-Eyed Delivery Man. Friday nights were sacred for Lena and Ryan. Every week, without fail, they had the same ritual: Uber Eats for dinner. They'd take turns ordering, plop on the couch for a movie, and call it date night. This week, it was Ryan's turn. They'd argued for almost half an hour about what to get, scrolling past Thai, pizza, sushi, until finally landing on their usual guilty pleasure: KFC. By then, it was late. Their stomachs were growling. They sat half watching TV, half waiting for the food to arrive, Ryan refreshing his phone every couple of minutes. Finally, his screen lit up, order delivered. But instead of buzzing their apartment like every other driver had, the notification came with a photo: the KFC bag, sitting outside, on the ground, in the sketchy alleyway behind their building. Ryan frowned. What the hell? Why would he drop it back there? Lena groaned. We've literally never had a driver do that. And in the alley, annoyed and shivering, they pulled on their shoes. Leave a bad review, Lena muttered. Trust me, I will, Ryan said, rolling his eyes. When they reached the lobby, Lena hesitated. She hadn't grabbed a jacket. The air outside was sharp and cold. I'll wait here, she said. Ryan sighed but agreed. Fine, I'll be right back. He pushed out the back door and disappeared into the night. 2 minutes passed, then 4. By 6 minutes, Lena was checking the time nervously. She dialed his phone. No answer. She sent a text, waited, called again. This time it went straight to voicemail. Her chest tightened. Ryan always forgot to charge his phone, so maybe it died, but he should have been back by now. She stared at the back door, the alley where sketchy crackheads loitered, smoked, and yelled, the kind of place she avoided even in daylight. But it had been 8 minutes. Something wasn't right. She finally pushed through the door, hugging herself against the cold. The alley smelled faintly of garbage and damp concrete, and there it was, the Uber Eats bag, sitting exactly where the photo showed it, untouched. But Ryan wasn't there. Her pulse spiked. She jogged over, snatched the bag off the ground, and sprinted back towards the apartment complex lobby. She swiped her keycard to enter and shoved the door closed behind her. The lobby's warmth wrapped around her. I'll just go back to our apartment. Maybe he's already back, she thought. She hit the call button for the elevator. The screen showed it was already sitting at the 14th floor. Their floor. Relief flickered. They must have just missed each other. She rode up quickly, KFC bag clutched tight. Before opening the door to her home, she hesitated. Then, for some reason, she inspected the KFC bag. The seal was broken, and smeared across the brown paper bag were stains, dark, red. Her breath paused, and the bag slipped from her hands. She bolted back to the elevator, heart hammering. She reached the lobby and locked herself in the single public bathroom there for safety, then called the cops. Minutes later, sirens cut through the night. When the officers stormed her apartment, they found him, the Uber driver, hiding inside their home, waiting, her boyfriend's keys dangling from his pocket. The man's eyes were bulging, wide and inhuman, and they never blinked. Further down the alley, they found Ryan's body. The investigation that followed was worse than anything Lena could have imagined. It turned out this man was part of a group of Uber drivers responsible for a string of murders across the city. Every victim had one thing in common. They had all ordered from Uber Eats shortly before they died. For months, they had avoided becoming suspects. No one else had ever survived the attacks. Until Lena. Her escape finally broke the pattern, and exposed the predators who had been hiding behind the most ordinary delivery. Some drivers deliver food, others deliver death, a demon in the trunk, a camera aimed too close, and eyes that never blink. So the next time you call a ride, ask yourself if it's really worth the convenience. I'm Stitchmouth, and I'll be waiting.